right, we're on here. All right, at this time, I'd like to begin the Thursday, January 8th Planning Commission meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, can I please get a roll call?
Brian Robertson.
Here.
Matt Wood.
Here.
Justin Mays.
Here.
Brandon Hutchison.
Here.
Diane Pressler. Here. Andrea Baldwin. Here.
Next on the agenda is election of officers for president and vice president. Do we have any nominees?
I'm gonna nominate Matt for president. I think he's done a good job for us. If he accepts. You don't have to.
I don't care either way.
Second that or?
Can the public nominate?
Is there any other nominations? Brian,
Yes.
Matt,
Abstain.
Justin,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Diane. Yes. Andrea.
Yes.
All right, vice president. Do we have any nominees? What'd you say? You don't want it again?
No, I don't care, but if someone else wants it, they can take it.
Anybody?
I'll nominate Andrea.
You had your opportunity.
You can
to say
turn
that.
it down.
I know, but then I know.
Are there any other nominations? Brian,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Andrea.
Abstain.
All right, next on the agenda is adoption of minutes.
We gotta have a secretary.
Yeah, I have a secretary.
Do we have to elect that too?
Sorry. This time I'll entertain a motion to elect a secretary. Do you have any other options?
I'd nominate Jenny, our town manager.
I don't know.
Legal, can we do that? Nominate the town manager?
I believe so. It's my understanding that we can't.
Are there any other nominations?
We'll throw Teresa in there.
I don't know how to do this when there's two, because we don't do that.
We can get
One person have to turn it down.
Yeah, you can decline. Yeah, it's that easy.
I'll decline. On the nomination of Jenny Reski as secretary, I'll take a vote. Brian,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Andrea.
Oh, yes, I guess. Really? My favorite going.
All right, next on the agenda is adoption of minutes. Has everybody had time to look over the November 13th minutes?
Yes.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve November 13th minutes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Brian,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Andrea.
Abstain.
Next on the agenda is public comment. Is there any?
Got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to just rattle what you guys did, but are you allowed to elect Jenny as your secretary since she's not a resident?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
The legal.
She's an employee, but she's not a resident.
As a employee of the town, she is eligible.
Good question.
I didn't know.
I wasn't
myself,
100% sure. That's why I was looking at legal when we voted on that stuff.
Okay, that's it.
Anything else?
Learn something new every day.
All right, if there's nothing else, then we'll move on to old business. We have the Anderson MPO, the I-69 corridor plan, MOU. You want to go ahead?
Sure, I don't have a prepared memo because I just finished kind of going through this earlier today. But having done so, I looked at the minimum standards and kind of basically this corridor plan, the areas that it includes in Lapel, our future land use map shows those areas being either light industrial or remaining agriculture. So those are the only two districts that I compared these minimum standards to kind of see how we're doing, see what would need to change. And a lot of the standards, a lot of the minimum standards that I'm proposing that are already in the ordinance are either, our standards are either a little bit stricter, or so like they already meet the minimum, or they're very close and would just be like little tweaks, maybe to like the numbers, basically. There are a good number of standards that are not in the ordinance. For example, standards around bicycle infrastructure, standards around street tree planting, and things of that nature.
In ours or?
That are in the minimum standards, but are not in the standards for those two districts.
Yeah, I don't think we go that deep with ours.
Yeah, and so, but the way that you would incorporate these standards would just be to create an overlay district, so it wouldn't affect the zoning everywhere in the town. It'd only be zoning. It would only be applying these standards to the overlay district, which would only include the area under this study area.
It's between it'd be set for us, it'd be from 700 to 650.
Yeah,
So it's
Yeah. 700.
not a huge area
right.
that's affected by us. We're very small. Quick question for that. I did have, actually people have actually reached out and asked me about this as well, so I said I'd ask tonight. How does that affect current businesses? For instance, the biggest one we got right there would be Don Smock. Would they have a timeline to now meet these minimum standards, or are they grandfathered in? And a lot of people are curious because I know this isn't us, but like because this isn't in Lapel, but like the boat place that went in that has all those buildings was a prime example. Is this this infrastructure along the road, is it gonna like stop because they're grandfathered in, start again?
I'll let Marcellus, I can speak to it, but I don't know if Marcellus wants to talk about it, but I can a little bit.
I mean, I think that kind of depends on how we would design that overlay district and the standards. This example that I have here from Pendleton, I think, kind of has provisions for getting existing properties to work towards meeting these their minimum standards. So, I mean, that's something that if we wanted to do, we could. If there was not interest in that, I mean, that would create sort of that could create a sort of patchwork, which would be sort of problematic in terms of creating this sort of uniform condition that is the goal of this plan.
Did we get that information?
Yeah,
Let's meet it.
This,
When I was sick.
this big,
Yeah.
I
It's
have a
also on our
copy at the
website.
office, this big, and it's on their website as
Okay.
well.
Okay,
Over on the table, there's a small little pamphlet. I
Okay,
laid some
'cause I-
over there.
I haven't seen it.
Marcellus, would they not be, everything that's existing out there would be grandfathered in until they made a
I
change
didn't
that
see
would
it
have
as
to go
an
before the
effect.
planning commission, correct?
Yes. that's generally how it would work.
It would what?
And that's how
Grandfather.
the rest of our standards work, is that until you apply for a building permit for some major renovation that you're doing on your property, or you want to expand or
Then you
something,
have to.
then you would have to meet the standards.
It's just like anything else. It's grandfathered in for someone's home or anything else.
It's like if McDonald's wanted to, you've got a sign standard that you can only have the signs that are close to the ground instead of
Yeah.
the tall McDonald's sign. McDonald's wanted to do an expansion add-on, they might have to meet that standard to get that add-on,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
correct.
About consistency, moving forward, like if you think it's just gonna stop, you can expand your overlay district beyond this area. You can define that overlay district all the way up to 13 if you like. Maybe you wanna go all the way to 38 to make it more consistent, have a break in that, just to kind of make it consistent. Or you go all the way up to 13 if you like. Pendleton, and sorry for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave Pendleton with the Orlando. Pendleton, basically, they already had overlay districts, and they have gateways here, gateway there, they have an area here, commercial, they have this, and they basically applied it to all these areas, this overlay. So it has more stringent restrictions in this area, in that area, in this area, there, this area. Everybody that's there is already grandfathered in, and as, like I said, somebody comes before the planning commission for a change, then they would have to meet that standard of that overlay district because they already exist. So, yeah, so you could do multiple things here. You could go just up to 650 and take it on. Am I in line with the attorney and Marcellus, do you agree?
I did have a couple questions, and either one of you maybe can answer this. What is the benefit for the town in this, just maybe just in general, if the majority of the standards in there are already our standards, or if we're talking about such a small area there, what's the main benefit for the town?
I think the most important benefit for the town is kind of creating these conditions of cooperation with neighboring communities. Some of the things that the governments that sign on to this MOU are agreeing to are, for example, having greater coordination in their design review for things that are happening in that district, which means that if there's an application for something that's going in Pendleton and it's in that overlay corridor, they would have to communicate that with the town of Lapel, and the town of Lapel would have the opportunity to sort of provide some kind of feedback or input on if they think that development is going to affect things that are happening across the boundary in Lapel, and stuff like that. So you kind of create this mechanism for feedback between the towns. I think that's one big important benefit. The other one I would say is that at the beginning of this document, they talk about the opportunity for funding and how projects that involve multiple governments tend to be prioritized in awarding grants. And so that's a big benefit as well, is if there are projects, things that the town of Lapel needs that are happening in that area, then by cooperating with neighbors, with Ingalls, with Pendleton, Lapel has a better chance of maybe getting some funding to do those projects.
Okay. And you kind of answered one of my other questions in there, is if we, obviously an MOU not being like a binding resolution that we have to abide by a certain standard, let's just take, for example, Don Smock. Well, let's say their sign doesn't meet a standard and the MOU says what? They come to us and say, hey, this isn't a standard. Can you guys please change it? And we say no? Or is that something that, since we've signed on, Pendleton, Anderson, Fortville all have to come together to say, oh yeah, we don't like that. How does that look?
The,
It's been my understanding that this is a
Not a
voluntary
binding.
cooperation.
Sure,
This is
sure.
Not binding.
Not binding,
contract.
doesn't mean we have to do.
Yeah,
Sure.
the other big thing is here is that companies, developers will come in and they'll go, I'm gonna go over here to this community because they have less stringent things. I won't have to put in trees, these guys make me put in trees, so I'm gonna go develop over here. And then it's an incentive for you to say,
Yeah.
yeah, we want you. But if everybody has the same idea, they're not gonna shop around, if you will. They're not gonna get the lower price or the cheaper way to develop. And it's all gonna be kind of consistent, and the rules in here, the things that are in here are for transportation and so you don't have, things that are impede intersections, the interstate, things like that are impact traffic. It has a lot to do with traffic, obviously. And the cooperative development, like the grants thing, this also helps you when NDOT comes through 13 and does stuff. They're gonna say, oh, everybody agrees. Everybody has a certain setback of buildings. You've got enough room for me to acquire right away to put in multi-use paths or trails or sidewalks. If they're not there already, they're gonna do some improvement or to widen. They were ever to widen 13 for whatever reason. There's lots of options in that regard. I don't know what the setbacks requirements, I have not looked at the specific requirements, but yeah, I would think, yeah, it's not binding because you're still, you're autonomous and you get to decide what you want, but it's an incentive to, hey, we'd really like you to kind of jump on board with everybody else.
Well, because Pendleton already came in once here when we did that 700, when they were building out there and wanted to make sure we're gonna take care of the one side of the road and they were gonna take care of one. That was like, what, Matt?
Yeah, I remember
A
that.
year or two ago, so.
We signed an interlocal agreement.
Right,
with them,
but they
and then-
did come in, so
Yeah.
it's sort of like that.
I
But-
would agree with that, yeah.
No, they were
Say
making
legally, but.
a developer upgrade the road.
Correct.
We had to give them our side of the road so they could make them upgrade the
Yeah.
entire road.
Mhm.
Yep, and the same out there, I think, on Atlantic.
Did Anderson already sign on onto this? I know last month you guys had to us and Anderson still to talk.
No, it was the last we went to Ingalls and Pendleton first, and then we're going to probably Madison County next, and then Anderson. Anderson's probably gonna be the most reluctant one to.
Oh, for sure, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't care, they just want business.
They want
I
it
mean,
all.
I don't wanna say that, but
Yeah.
you can drive through Anderson to see what it looks like compared to out here, to see what kind of.
I assumed you were
development
trying to
standards
get all of us on board first to use as leverage for Anderson.
they have. It is kind of that way, yes.
Yes.
It is a better way to do it. I think they probably will, but it's probably gonna be the most difficult, yes.
I'm guessing it affects a bigger chunk of them.
Actually, no, I mean, I think their current property boundary goes to Layton Road through 400, which is an overpass over I-69. They have a couple of properties, but they haven't annexed any farther, this Madison County areas, but there's a deal with Fall Creek Regional Waste Stop providing, water service or something that they won't go underneath the interstate to get there, and they can't develop farther, so it's really undevelopable, so they're kind of stuck right there at Layton Road, whatever's there is what they got. We've been working with them since they got a federal earmark in 2003 and 2005 to do a parallel road. It was originally supposed to basically parallel I-69 from State Road 9, Scatterfield Road, all the way to State Road 38. They couldn't do it a straight road through. It got moved around a lot because there's a peat bog right out there by, what is that? The orthopedic over there, MLK, right behind there. So Federal Highway said, no, you can't use the funds there. So it got moved up to 67th Street. So theoretically, on the plans now, we're having issues. We've been having issues again. We started in 2005, it's 25 now. So we're still working on this. It hasn't obviously broke ground. But basically from Layton Road to 38, there will be not a bypass road, mostly for trucking, so that could increase traffic on 38 out there. Won't necessarily affect you guys, if that, yeah.
What about the farmland out there? Is that
I mean,
going to be eminent domain or?
well, yeah, generally, if you're building a road, you're gonna acquire right away, and you have certain rules to, provide,
This is between where now, you said Layton and?
Layton and, Stereo 38. So it's gonna come out right, what's the little lake cabins out there at the
Oh, yeah,
exit?
Yeah, Mystic Creek or Mystic
Mystic
River,
something.
whatever it is now.
Yeah, it's gonna come just north of there, north of the old, whatever is, Fort Warner out there for
Yeah.
a while, but it's
Yeah,
not.
GBC mortgage.
Yeah.
Whatever that is out there, yeah. And Pendleton has you can go on their website, they have a whole plan for that whole area as far as full build out for industry. They did it probably 3-4 years ago. Kind of look ahead and see what they're gonna do in all 4 corners of that interchange. And incorporate this road. But again, we're having problems with getting that road there, and that's a, $20, $35 million roadway. It's not gonna happen anytime soon, so. Unless money falls from the sky, which it could happen. I'm trying to get Anderson to apply for a grant right now through the federal government, so, to get there, because I don't think they have that 37 million budgeted in whatever the amount is gonna be, so. So, yeah, they've got a lot of things going on there in Anderson, so it comes over to Layton. They don't own any of that necessarily, but they're coordinating with Pendleton because there's a piece of, that road would go through a piece of Madison County and a piece of Pendleton. It's gonna be a cooperative thing there, so, but that's basically where the line until that road comes through, partially they will own part of that road over to that area. But, yeah, so it's probably more than you wanted to know, but you also guys should know about it.
Yeah.
It is something on the horizon. You guys can look on our website, we have it's called Metropolitan Transportation Plan, it looks at everything for the next 20 years, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Be interesting for you to peruse it, see what we're planning for this area. Most of it we coordinated when you guys did your thoroughfare plan, we coordinated with your consultants to get whatever we already have in our plan, in your plan, so I think you know what everything that we're kind of thinking about in your area. It's not rocket science to do stuff. It's not,
Roundabouts.
Yeah. No, that's in dog. We do not do that. That was in dog. I was surprised they did that, but and I think I told you those roundabouts got moved out, but I think they got moved up again. So I don't. Indus funding is all over the place. I'm sure you've watched the news, so there's lots of things going on with funding. So who knows? Again, it's always a moving target, just like my funds, it's a moving target. So I don't know.
So what's your suggestions on this one? What are your thoughts here? I'm sorry, we kind of cut you off, so.
Yeah, no problem. My thoughts on this are, I think it's worth signing on to. I think like I said, I think the sort of cooperative benefits and the funding benefits I think are really key here. And I think the fact that it's not going to be a huge lift in terms of, our standards are like far behind or far below these, it shouldn't be too difficult to write an overlay district, a set of standards for the overlay district that'll meet these and can be applied on there. So I don't think it'll cost Lapel much to participate. And so I think it's a good idea.
I know you had a question. Thanks for waiting patiently.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys giving me a moment to ask questions. So because this MOU is not a binding agreement, if we do sign on to it and then it gets changed after we sign on to it, what would that process look like?
So it says in here that, so sort of two things there is that no alteration, modification, or amendment to this MOU is permitted except by written agreement signed by all parties. So everybody who's on the MOU has to agree to any changes to it. There's also a clause that any party at any time on their own choice can choose to leave. They have to just give a 30-day written notice to the other parties, and then after 30 days, they're out. So it won't be changed without Lapel's approval if Lapel is part of it, and if Lapel decides that it doesn't want to do it anymore, it can leave.
It's more just a handshake agreement.
It doesn't leave you powerless.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the city limits go to Layton, right? Or our district goes to Layton? No?
No,
I thought it did.
no.
Just the school district.
This is school.
Oh, yeah, just a school.
That's just
Yeah.
Stony Creek Township.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So hypothetically, if we all want to use the correct term here.
Reorganize.
Reorganize, she was saying. If we all reorganize and it does take us out there, should we look into the future of that possibility and consider following the plan clear out to Layton in case Pendleton's development with the access, or Anderson's development with the access road?
And that'd be something we could look at. I mean, if you look at the map right now of what's being proposed, we say it goes out to 650, but if you actually look at it, it actually just kind of almost like bumps out to 650 to catch 650. And then as you get away from the exit, and correct me if I'm wrong, it narrows back in.
Yeah, it's 1 mile on either side of I-69, so it's not gonna follow, annex areas,
Yeah.
limits, town limits. It's not gonna follow roadways necessarily, you should get a piece of a road, piece of a parcel.
And if you know where 500, County Road 500 is, right before you get to State Road 38,
Right,
that's where Stony Creek stops. Then
okay,
you become Green Township.
right,
So if this ordeal happens,
right,
it would never affect any of this anyways, because
Okay.
it doesn't go far enough south.
okay,
Because Green Township is not part of that.
part of it, right. Okay.
So Lapel would not be expanded east, south of 500,
500, okay,
any farther east than we are now.
I have one comment for you and for all of you. If you don't know, I made my GIS people put this together because a lot of people don't know who owns what road, and who's responsible for what road. There's an app, you click on our website, heartlandnpo.org. On the homepage, you'll see things called roads and signs. We did sign inventory replacement. Hit on that. It'll show you color coded who's goes with what road. Like Atlantic is not county road. It's not your road. That's Noblesville or Hamilton County up here. So it's not yours, and you don't get half of it. You don't have to do any cooperative agreement. It's all theirs. You might want to talk to them if you ever get development over there. But you can go on that map and see that. I made that because a lot of people just don't know, because they think, well, my address is this. I live in this town. My school district's this. Where do I actually live? I see that comment all the time online, but you go on there and kind of figure out what's what. So if you did anything over to Layton, even though that goes over to, if it's outside of your annexed area, which I don't know the annexed area boundary off the top of my head, it's not gonna affect outside of that annexed area. You have no power over that area, you have an annex.
And she was worried about future stuff, but because we don't go south.
That would be a
The
decision.
caveat ends at 500.
That would have to be a decision of Pendleton or Madison County, or I think it's Anderson actually. Yeah, so I'm not sure whether, again, go to the map. I don't know.
What was that app again?
It's called Roads and Signs.
Roads and Signs. Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Heartland.org.
Roads and Signs.
Do you guys have any questions about this?
No.
No, not.
But my thought process looking over it, I don't know what everybody else's opinion is, if we want to discuss this for a second. If we do consider joining on with chapter you tonight, I don't see a huge downside. And actually, I think it could potentially save us some stress when it comes to when businesses do come in arguing, we want to see this, no, let's take this out. We see it all the time with the PUDs. Kind of make it a little bit more of that cookie cutter. But my thoughts are that if we're gonna do this for aesthetic reasons, it would look best to carry it to State Road 38 and let the next state road kind of be the dividing point, kind of rolls into TLC right there. I don't know what everybody else's opinions are on that, but that's my thoughts.
Is that about another half mile? Is that about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not very far. Just a weird place. If you actually thought about it all developed, that'd be a weird spot to stop.
Right.
This time I'd entertain a motion if somebody would like to. Is anybody in favor of this?
Yeah.
For it to 650 or just the way it sits, or do you want to take it to State Road 38?
I think
we're just voting on.
I think that could be a separate.
Sorry.
We're just voting that we want to
Yeah.
sign
Right.
Okay.
MOU.
Right.
Okay.
A recommendation.
It's a
Recommendation,
Recommendation.
yes,
Recommendation.
to town,
You gotta get this written up so you can pass that ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we send a positive recommendation to the town council.
I second. Hand that back to Brian.
Brian,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Diane,
Yes.
Andrea.
Yes.
Next on the agenda, new business, there's none. Planning commission discussion, planning administrator report.
All right, so this month I have a year-end report for all of 2025. I received and responded to over 25 inquiries requesting information about planning and zoning here in Lapel. Some of those eventually turned into BZA or plan commission applications, some did not. There were a total of 103 building permits issued last year. Most of those, or the two largest groups of those, 20 each, were in fence permits and roof permits. So imagine a lot of that had to do with the tornado. But electric and residential accessory structures were also pretty high up there. As far as administrative milestones, we got some new updated application forms with the new town hall information, as well as my new email address. And then we had that form for a vacation of public right of way. The applications received last year, there were 7 BCA cases last year, a total of 12 requests, because some of those applications had sort of multiple requests embedded. And then there were additionally 5 address requests, 1 plat that was very early last year, and then the Arbor PUD that was withdrawn, and then the second submission. That's kind of just a quick rundown of everything that happened last year. And now we start with a clean new slate. That's all.
So exciting. Next on the agenda is code enforcement case updates. Are there any?
No.
No.
So we asked at the town hall if we want to know about one.
It's know about, sorry.
Something that needs to be done to,
I think
people are still wondering about Main Street. Have we found anybody? Is that the house on?
The White House?
Yes,
They've already cleared it and boarded it up. And
by Smokies.
Mhm.
So it's still gonna stay like that?
Yep.
Great, okay. Okay.
Is it for sale?
No, the Smokies would like to buy it and put a parking lot in, but they won't sell it.
Are they local owners?
They're hard to find.
Yeah. Okay.
Curious.
If there's nothing else, then
I apologize. Probably should have brought this up in public comment, but I've never come in front of you guys as a resident of like a complaint type situation. And if I am in the wrong spot, please tell me and I'll stop. Last week, my husband was outside raking leaves in the front yard. I've talked to Teresa, I've talked to Brian, I've talked to the police several times. We have a resident that lives on John Street that their dogs have gotten out multiple times. We followed Chief's suggestion about calling dispatch. Thankfully, my husband had a rake in his hand, and I'll just leave it at that. But Officer Diaz came down and took care of the situation very quickly. It's getting to the point where the one dog is getting aggressive, more aggressive. I don't want to see anybody lose their dog, but at the same time, he did issue them, I think this is their 4th citation. Can we, as a town, look at implementing some sort of a code enforcement or some sort of legal way to, once you've had so many citations for a pet issue, can we take it a step further? Because I live on John Street, which is right there by Ice Cream Plus. We all know there's a preschool right there. They take their kids on walks. This issue has gone on multiple times, and we need to do something other than just issue them a citation. Because had my husband not had a rake in his hands, he would have been attacked this last week.
Is there something legally we can do?
Yeah.
Pass an ordinance or something?
Yeah, we can pass an ordinance. I don't know off the top of my head if there is language like that already in place.
There's not, based on the research that I've done.
I know we have animal ordinances, but I don't know.
100%.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
I know
So-
it's county, the county
My
has
question would be with that, and I've looked into that
that.
before, is if you don't have animal control, how do you enforce? Because it's not, it's an ordinance is not enforced by police.
Right.
Yeah.
It's enforced, and animals don't fall under building, they fall
Yeah.
under, so I think that's where the
Exactly. It's
big
where
problem
the
is.
miss is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, the difference between animal control going out there and then,
Correct.
of course, the police can write ordinance violations. They're just not criminal.
Yeah,
So for the dog getting out and whatnot, they can write citations for that. And like I said, I'll have to look into what the specific ordinance says, but we can 100% escalate via ordinance.
And the same house has a car up on jacks halfway out into the road, and it's been sitting there for 2 weeks. Like it's on
It's
jacks.
already on my schedule to go get pictures of that.
It's a matter of time before something terrible happens.
That happened tonight. Some man died.
Yeah, it actually
Jack
happened
fell on
yesterday in
him.
Greenville.
Yeah.
But like because it's
It
setting on
did.
jacks, it's not secured. So I mean, I'm glad Brandon's already seen it, but I mean, it's a matter of time before, I mean, they park the wrong way. Like if you're going with traffic, they park the opposite way. And then we just passed a right of way for the town. They're parking on the public sidewalk. They've muddied up the sidewalk going to Ice Cream Plus. Like it's to the point of where it's gonna start tearing up that wonderful sidewalk that we've got there. That is the main thoroughfare for Ice Cream Plus. It's a huge community meeting place. And again, I don't wanna take anybody's dog, but damn it, be responsible.
I will know if they're attacking people. I'll join with that. And my kids literally ride their bikes
Exactly. You're in
to the
same
church, their
neighborhood.
parking lots. I mean, I feel that, yeah, 100%.
I just wish people would do what they're supposed to do what's right, because I don't wanna see anybody hurt. My husband's the main breadwinner in our house, and if he gets hurt, we're in trouble. So I need it to still work.
I had a comment, follow-up,
Yeah.
on this topic. In my knowledge now, I think animal control, that's all town council ordinance, city ordinance, it wouldn't be this body that would pass an ordinance to have animal control if we had animal control. But I'm pretty sure the police, they can do citations, can't they come out and if they have a person that's expert in dog wrangling,
Yeah, they can come out. and do
they can come out and do that.
And they have. This is number 4 citation for this house.
But as far as this body, I think there's 2 things. Definitely the parking in the right of way on the sidewalk, that's a citation I think that this body can complain for sure.
For sure.
Or alleyway, anything that's public right of way, whether they park in the middle of Main Street and they just leave the car there and can't get around. The other thing is, I was gonna ask Marcellus, maybe you guys know, I think you can have a number of animals ordinance on a property.
We have that.
So if you have that, so if they have more, so many animals, you exceed that,
Well, I
then
think
they
we're
can get a
at 5.
citation by this body.
I know we have chickens. I know chickens is in there. I don't think there's
Yeah,
dogs.
Dogs might not be.
it's a farm animals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which
okay,
you could have, so I mean,
But
like, what,
but you could, yes.
because some people get so many, you could be like a dog shelter, and that's a whole different land use than a
Yeah.
single family
yeah.
home. So if you get over 3 dogs and they got kennels and then there's public nuisance ordinance, which is not this body, but it's town council, if I'm not mistaken, that, smell, danger, all that kind of stuff. Falling cages into the alleyway or whatever, things like that. Those are the only things I think you can deal with that. But this body's probably not the body.
Okay,
That would be my
Sorry.
guess.
sorry to waste your time, guys.
Oh, it's good for these guys to tell their
Yeah.
friends.
Oh, you can bring it to the council.
I'll create a presentation with, complete with pictures and videos.
You don't ever tell anybody, no one's ever gonna know.
I know, I'm trying to figure out the
There
right
you
way,
go.
and
There,
then
cameras.
with the car on the jacks and the right of way issue, I was like, this has gotta be fixed, cause it's turning into a mud hole.
Yeah, that's,
I personally haven't seen this, I cannot speak on that.
yeah, I haven't seen it either, but
Pretty bad.
we can have, banning.
Probably a lot of people just don't know.
Right.
They just don't know, but they shouldn't.
And when we spoke with Diaz the other day, he was like, he said, I'm gonna talk to chief and see if we can't get something figured out to where we can get something put into place where you've had so many issues.
Citations issued.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting, with the next meeting being February 12th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.